So I'm quite used to saying things in a way that can be understood by kind of anyone, or I try to make it understandable by anyone, no matter how far in the matrix they are. But I think this is a self-imposed limitation. I don't need to do this. I can just say things as they actually are. Which leads to the topic of this video, which is basically how society fragments things. Like Hangman. So, but depending on where you are, I guess we have to imagine that we are like a hangman, and we have these bits, and without the heart in the middle, well, with the heart in the middle, we can just put ourselves back together. And it's not that complicated, really. I was thinking about someone who was sort of struggling with BPD or whatever, right? As they say. And I was thinking about therapy and how in the Matrix-y kind of way of thinking about it, they see it as a particular thing in their brain, right? This is my BPD. And the BPD and the cognitive behavioral science stuff that affects their behaviors, it affects their diet. So you've got their diet that's affected, and that affects, who they're with, their peers, and their posture, and their thoughts, and what they intake. And it's like, whenever you go to a scientific model of things, it's like just this very fragmented way of looking at it, like, oh, with this, the diet affects, posture, and I'm trying to illustrate something here, which is like, when you live in a unified world, you just look at these, you don't have to dissect things up like this. Like, you just see someone who is, I don't know, a troubled person. And, you just say troubled person, right? That kind of covers all of it already. That kind of encapsulates it all. If you just imagine, like, you were watching a movie and you see someone, with all of these traits in a deficient way, let's say their posture is sad, or they don't, they're kind of hunched over, and, they're drinking too much, and they're spending time with the wrong people, and blah, blah, blah. And that, they act out, and, they have triggers, and they refacilitate. You don't need to do any of that. You just see them, and if you're unified, through and through they're a troubled person. And often the solution will be, you want to stick their chin up a bit, and smile at them, and give them a hug, and offer them a nice warm bowl of food, which is obviously helping the diet and the posture and the everything. But rather than dissect it into these little things, you just do what's necessary, because you know what's right anyway. You don't have to divide everything up, right? And I think this led to me thinking a lot about society and how it fragments things. Like, when you go to university, you start off with the kind of, you say you're rebelling a bit in this modern world, right? In the modern rebellious culture, because it's obviously rejecting the Matrix. You listen to political stuff, you listen to Rage Against the Machine, or you listen to The Prodigy, and you listen to the great music, Nina Simone, whatever. You just see it already. You see all the problems already. It's already there. It's clear as day. And then you go to college, and then you go to university, and what they do is they create all these little bits, these knowledge packages. Sorry, this is what they've done. What they've created is they create all these little things for you to think about. All these little terms, right? And I know this. I studied at university for 5 years. 7 years in sociology, doing sociology academically, right? And they give you all these terms, right? I want to illustrate how stupid this is. In common sense world, right? Common sense world, you don't cross a road if there's a car coming. Obviously, you cross a road, you know, when it's clear. But you could probably create a whole degree on why not to cross the road, you know, why to cross a road, and you could have clearing theory, you could have harm theory, and then you could have, like, I don't know, what's a road, huh? Oh, you know, and then you could have careers on road perception management, right? And you could have, you know, all these little quantum computer things saying, you know, oh, this is good, this is bad. When a truck's in. I know I'm a bit deranged when I'm talking right now, but do you see what the point is? When we're in reality, clearly, we just see how everything works. Same with diet as well. Like people learn all of this stuff about nutrition and carbs and protein, all of this, you know, stuff. When we know how to eat healthily and we know what we need to do when we get over this stuff. Initially, you know, just talking about food, maybe. Eat healthy food, eat vegetables, eat slowly, eat moderately, eat stuff that makes you feel healthy, you know, green stuff, vegetables, legumes, you know, not too much processed food, you know, like, I'm not telling you exactly what to eat here, but the thing is that you have a rounded idea of what to do. And another example is just appreciation of beauty as well. That's when I was on my walk tonight, I just saw how beautiful this world actually is. And you might see it and you're just like, wow, look at that, look at the night sky, look how beautiful it is, right? And then if you're in the Matrix, you'll be tempted, what you'll do is you want to take a photograph of it, and then you'll want to post it on Instagram, and then you'll want to wait for someone to send you a love react, right? So they saw that you captured that beauty, and then they might send you a nice message, which then, you know, which also feels like you've earned something, you know, so you've earned the appreciation of beauty, which might feel like money, which makes you feel good because money can buy you things like, I don't know, a nice, oh, eventually one day I'll get a really nice house, right? And that really nice house, you know, with the mortgage and stuff, and then I'll have this lovely view. Oh wait, I already had the view when I was on my walk, and I don't need, and if other people realised this, we would just be appreciating it together anyway, and we would, you know, enjoy things and go back and have some healthy food or some nice food to eat. You see what I mean? Like, the Matrix does this with reality, boxes it all up. When you have the whole picture, it's just all coming in. You've got everything here, you know. When you just allow it to be as it is, you have, and then in a wholeness, you just enjoy everything, because everything is beautiful and everything is clear, everything makes sense. I don't need to enjoy I don't need to enjoy going on a Friday night to get this one drink, which will then be this money, I'll save this money, and then I'll meet this person who's nicer than this person. You see, it's the same pattern. Do you see how I'm not really making, I'm not trying to make this a logical thing, but do you see how it's the same pattern each time? It's just the way it fragments things and puts you into this reward. See, I've done it here as well, the reward punishment of this thing, move this thing here, move this thing here, just to get back to where you were anyway, the origin, where things make sense. And you can see how things work as easily. It's easy how things work. It's really obvious how things work. The amount of thought stuff and terms and all of this stuff that gets piled up, and it's all there to distract you from yourself. It's all there to take your power away from you, right? You already know how everything works in your own existence. You're born. You're being here on this plane, and it's for you. The whole thing is the whole universe is here for you. You have what you need here. You have food, you have potential friends and company, you have enjoyment of art, enjoyment of music, enjoyment of nature, enjoyment of being alive. Like, you just for a moment just meditate on the fact that you're living in a house and you have trees around the house somewhere, right? And you have the night sky above you, or the daytime. It's night where I am right now. And you have options, you can do various things, but the main substance is there to carry all of that. And you can be drawn to something, but being drawn doesn't have to put these boxes in place. No, you shouldn't even. It doesn't. My point is, it doesn't. This is all a trap. It doesn't. It's just the way your mind gets sort of because when you're in this for too long, you can't see the whole. So something will trigger you because it will remind you. And I'll find this if I was on a walk. I was on my walk home, right? And I noticed a road that led nearby to where I lived, and I almost instinctively snapped out of my enjoyment of the walk and just followed this road home. And I was like, no, I don't need to do that. I'm looking at the trees, I'm looking at the lovely houses, I'm looking at the stars, I'm looking at I'm looking at the textures of the pavement. I was enjoying everything. That's why I was out, to enjoy the view, to enjoy my breath, to be healthy, if we want to go into diet, to improve my posture, if we want to break it up, right? We don't have to break it up. I'm doing all of these things that people learn how to do instinctively, automatically, and I'm not even thinking about it as a, oh, you got to get this in, man. I've got to do my 10,000 steps, man. Life hack, body hack, all of this stuff. It's all of this stuff is there as a kind of way to fragment you from whatever this is, this enjoyment of life, this innate enjoyment of life. That's just this whole thing. So I urge people to stop getting in these boxes. Like, stop looking at them. When you notice yourself getting triggered into a reactive mindset, like, most of these thoughts aren't yours anyway. Like, you'll think of someone you don't like, and then you'll think about what they might say, and then you'll think about what you might say to them, right? And then you're suddenly on this, oh, but I was right about that one. But this is you. This isn't you. This is a reaction, ping pong mindset thing that happens to take you out of yourself. Like, just notice this when it happens, and then just observe it and say, that's not me. That's not what I'm doing. That's not my innate being. Okay, I'm gonna just breathe and go back to my body and stay with everything as it is. Stay with the nature and stay with the sky. Very simple. Very simple. And when you do this, when you stop allowing these boxes to filter your consciousness, and you just open up to the being, breathing, grounding, eating healthily, just if you're feeling stressed, just be like, oh geez, I do actually feel stressed. Just being aware of yourself, right? You're being aware of yourself, and then being open to all the possible, universe around you and all the things that could happen. All of that stuff. When you do that, all of this stuff makes sense. All of this stuff starts to go back into where it was anyway.